Very unfortunate now. We're going to have to go look for some new members for the party. We're down to just Sig and Lorke. Um, we got to think of what kind of method we want to use to do that. Do we want to role play that out, or do we want to just kind of create two new characters? I think I might do the latter, because at this point it's pretty dangerous. Or, I mean, like, we could ratchet it down. We'll have to figure out some way to do it. But for now, it's Sig and it's Lorke. We unfortunately lost. Uh, well, I mean, it was unfortunate that we lost Veronique, but I mean, Galabrade hardly got anything done ever. He just kind of sucked. But we'll see if we can remedy that. First, we're gonna go over the resources we're gonna be using again. And I think we're actually going to start with a minor dungeon crawl because it turns out I've gotten some stuff wrong, really wrong. So let's talk about it. Once again, for primary decision making, we're going to turn to the oracles with the oracles here and the twists. We're also going to be using both table fables to generate whatever we really need to at the time. Let's talk about table fables too for a little bit. So when I was generating dungeons before, I noted that Table Fables works by fives in terms of how big is a square. I also mentioned that Labyrinth Lord works by tens. I was wrong. Labyrinth Lord also works by fives. I can explain the reason I thought this. The reason I thought this is because a lot of old school systems, including Swords and Wizardry, and first edition, and I think second edition, and a lot of the ones I was more familiar with, I think even Basic Fantasy works like this, they measure squares in tens. So I automatically thought that Labyrinth Lord would be the same. Not the case. So now, when we're going to be mapping out the Fortress City, it's going to be so much easier, and our buddy Sig can easily fit where his big ogre body needs to go, because he fills the 5-foot square. So, Table Fables, we're going to do it right this time. Next up, obviously, our rubric, Labyrinth Lord, and the Advanced Edition Companion. And then we're going to be using the class Compendium for Sig, possibly other NPCs that pop in. And we're going to be using the Necromancer class for Lorke. So, now that that's out of the way, let's talk about our scenario a little bit. We got to get some new team members, and I would like to work on how we're going to generate those and where we're going to... So what I've determined is that Sig and Lorke's character types are fairly uncommon. These guys are just... they're part of the original party, and you're probably not going to find a whole lot of other characters that are quite as eccentric as they are. So what I've elected to do is we're going to use the Advanced Edition Companion, and we're going to use the Tavern Patrons generator in order to come up with our next two party members. And we're going to do this from... Where are you? There it is, the Tavern Patrons. This is page 150 and 151. Well, mainly just 150. Okay. And these are kind of D20, D100 tables. So it looks like we've got D20 for race, D20 for class, if we're going to do it like that. If we hit like human or something, we might roll for a class. If we roll dwarf, elf, or like halfling, then we're actually just going to be using the core class from Labyrinth Lord. So that's what we're going to do. Let's get our dice out here. So we have a D4 for sex, and we have a D20 for race and or class. So let's do that here. We've got our dice roller, which is now very, very tilted. Tell you what. Let's do this. There we go. That's a lot more even. Okay, so first of all, let's go ahead and roll for the race. We've got a 1. That's a dwarf. Okay, so we're not going to be rolling for classes. We just have a dwarf. We will, however, roll for sex. So 1 to 2 is male and 3 to 4 is female on a d4. And that's a male. We have a male dwarf. And poof, like magic, there he is. So this is going to be our male dwarf. If he'll focus, there we go. Okay, he joins the party. We're going to figure out his name and stuff in a little bit. Look at him. He already looks like he belongs. Okay, number 2. Oop, stay in there. 8. What is that? That's a halfling. Okay, male or female? 3. That is a female halfling. And poof, just like magic, there she is. Again, we're going to figure out her name and stuff in a minute. I got to come up with their character cards. So, there's a good look at her. Huh. She looks kind of like a commoner, huh? I don't have any, like, adventurer halflings, so she might actually be a special class from the compendium. You know, I'm going to go through and I'm going to see if I can find something to match her look. She looks kind of like a farmer, so I wonder if there's anything that uses a scythe. Starting on page 39, we start getting unique halfling classes. So these are variants on the original halfling class. So let's look through and let's see if there's anything here that matches the look of our new halfling. So burglar, she doesn't really look like a burglar, does she? She's, I mean, I guess we could pick whatever class, but she, I don't know, I'm not getting that vibe. Although having somebody who could pick locks, that's pretty sweet. Let's see what these guys have. Become an expert treasure hunter at level 8, huh? Let's see if we can see their find traps, pickpockets. They can't open locks or anything, but they can find traps. That's cool. So next we have a feast master. What the heck is a feast master? They cook things. That would be kind of fun. It's an interesting way to buff the party. Let's take a look at their combat capabilities. Where are they at? Like other halflings, feastmasters may not use large two-handed weapons, but they may use any other weapon. Unlike other halflings, the feastmaster tends to travel lightly to give them more room to carry important cooking implements such as pots, pans, and spices. Because of this, they may only wear leather armor and do not use shields. Gotta have 13 in one of their prime attributes. They have the uncanny ability to disappear in the wilderness. We're not in the wilderness. They can hide with 90% ability, though. Like, that's pretty sweet, but we're not in the wilderness. They use the same attack and saving throws as a halfling, but maybe of any alignment. I don't think it's a feastmaster, no matter how fun that sounds. The wilderness capability, it's just off. Oh, look at that. That's interesting. So I don't think it's a feastmaster, because we're not going to find anything like that here, although there's probably plenty of cooks. A huckster. Some halflings make their way through the world, through stout heart or quick fingers. Quite a few of the small folk have the gift of gab and glib tongue. A huckster. Isn't that like it's like a salesman? It says, again, it's one of these you can disappear in the wilderness. Is that just like a halfling trait, I wonder? I haven't really read the halfling class. I didn't think we would have one. +1 to initiative rolls when alone or in a party composed only of hucksters and halflings. That is, yeah, okay, here we go. It's a salesman. They have seasonal profits. Maybe. That might be something. Fast talk. Live and die with quicksilver tongue. Because their gift of gab. They use charm person, huh? Veronique used to be able to charm person. That's pretty interesting. I'd like to have that ability back in the party. Bargain pricers being master negotiators, hucksters are able to purchase standard non-magical equipment at a discount price determined by their level. Oh, look at this. They have fast talk, bargain prices, hidden stocks, pickpockets, and read languages. This is a very interesting class. Deep pockets, the third level, they've learned the value of holding small trinkets. Once per day, the huckster may reach into his pouches and knapsacks and produce a single non-magical item from the adventuring gear list. On page 16 of the Labyrinth core rules, that has a cost of no more than 10 gold pieces. You just have it. From a winter blanket to 10 iron spikes, this item is assumed to have been something the huckster was always carrying, but somehow just got lost in the shuffle of his equipment, only to be produced at the opportune moment. What? That sounds really convenient. I'm going to remember this one. Let's keep going. A lucky fool. I like this one already. Actually, I think this one might be, just by the name alone. Let's see what they can do. Yeah, I think this disappear in the wilderness thing is just a halfling trait. Proficient all one-handed melee weapons. Can make use of slings, light crossbows, short bows. They don't use shields and may only wear padded and leather armor. Okay. So they have the initiative thing. What else can they do? Lucky Fool progression. Beginner's luck. Okay. And they have thief ability. What does that mean? So it's like any of the thief abilities? What's this? They're willing to try nearly all manner of dangerous tasks in spite of their complete lack of training. By utilizing the thief abilities, they can attempt to pick pockets, find or remove traps, pick locks, move silently, climb walls, or hide in shadows as a thief. Their chance of success in these endeavors is determined by their level. So these guys have all the thief abilities, but with one roll. That's pretty nifty. What else? Beginner's luck at second level. That's our current level. They may attempt a task that is absolutely that they have absolutely no ability or business doing. Whether this is holding up a random holy symbol and attempting to turn undead as a cleric, or using the magic user's spell scroll to spell a cast, they'll give it a shot. This ability can be used as either turn undead or cast a spell from any type of scroll. That's fantastic. You know what? I think she's a lucky fool. Just because this ability is fantastic. The ability they can just kind of do a thing and maybe it works. What's this? Beginner's luck? So like a 1 in 6 chance of being able to just turn undead? I love the idea that she's just sort of like this in over her head adventurer that came here for a similar reason we did. Hang on. I think this is going to be her class. So, yeah, I think our new halfling friend is going to be a lucky fool. But now, what about our dwarf? Is our dwarf going to be the same? You know what? Maybe we should leave it up to the oracles. Why not? We have them here, right? Is our dwarf a special class? Ready? Let's try it. 3. Complication? No. Let's get a yes or a no. 2. Nope. Nope, he's just a dwarf. That's fine too. Dwarves are cool. So that's what we're going to do. I'll be right back and I'm going to produce their character sheets. We're not going to have the same kind of calligraphy that we have with the names of Lorkay and Sig, because these are secondary characters. So I'll be right back. So here they are. That's our female lucky fool and our male dwarf. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use Table Fables and we're going to get some names for these guys. The Table Fables has a way of kind of coming up with weird names. Like we had that one female named Farkas. That struck me as weird. You guys are going to have to let me know if Farkas is like androgynous or whatever. So let's name our halfling first. Rolling a D100 to do so. So page 14 and 15 are the female and male names respectively. So let's give it a shot. So our lucky fool is named 74. Pomeline. Or Pomeline. I think it's Pomeline. Interesting. Okay, Pomeline. Let's write that down. Pomeline. That's cool. Kind of has like a Coraline sound to it. Okay, now let's roll for the male name of our dwarf. 24. Elias. There's a cool name. So our dwarf's name is Elias. Man, I can't even read that. Sometimes I can't read my own writing. Okay, Pomeline and Elias. Excuse me. So now I think what we should do is we should come up with some personality traits. And we've got backgrounds. Yeah, just for fun. What's Pomeline been doing for all these years before we find her? She spent her childhood working with her father on a fishing boat. She decided to pursue a career on the high seas carrying cargo, whether it's cargo trading or pirating. Well, that didn't work out very well, did it? How about you, Elias? A 3? Has had a talent for music and storytelling. I find that difficult to believe. His charisma's 9. He spent his days. Oh wait, that's what it is. You spent your life traveling here and there, singing songs and weaving stories for eager ears. Well, I had some bad news for you, Elias. You're a dungeon crawler now, and you are a new honorary member of the Horrible Four. Character traits. Sure, these are kind of simple. So let's go back to our D100. And the character traits for Pomeline. 72. She's reserved. Aw, that's actually adorable. She's got pretty high charisma, actually. So she's reserved, though. So maybe she knows how to talk when she has to, but she doesn't like to. How about Elias? 15? He's daring. That makes sense. And he's a new honorary member, and he's in the fortress city, and he's looking for his fortune or something like that. So we'll set up a scenario in which we have them, or maybe we can just kind of determine we pick them up somewhere. So let's determine what sort of place we picked them up in. How's that? In Table Fables 2, there's a section for, like, the purpose of a building. So I think we should try and find that. Building type. Details, peculiarities. Yeah, let's look for, like, a building type, and we can kind of work out from there. So this is page 72 of Table Fables 2. And we're gonna, let's see, D6 for the building's type. D6. Here we go. That's a 3. This is a commercial building. We found them in a D4 to determine. We found them in a warehouse. A warehouse. Cool. Let's draw that up. And let's see why we're there and what sorts of things are going on. Before we get started here, I gotta say how happy I am to be wrong. What you're looking at is a 50 by 30 foot room. You know what that would look like before? That would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Like that would be a fraction of that size. So, boy oh boy, am I glad that we discovered that 5 feet is 5 feet instead of 10 feet. So if we can focus again. There we go. So we found these two here in a... man, we found them just in a warehouse. See all the stuff piled up back there? It's just extra broken down stuff. It's probably not even worth anything. We found them in here. And you know what? I'm going to have to bring in a resource that I didn't really say at the beginning. But I think we're actually going to use... we might use this word salad again to really kind of lock down why they're in here. I know you can't see the whole thing, but it's a D100 roll. So for this event, how this works is we're going to roll an event meaning action on the top, and on the bottom is a subject. So for each one, we're rolling a D100. So that's what we're going to do. So D100s for event action. That's 32. That's delay. What are we delaying? 82. So I know you can't see it, but let's show you. So here, on 82 here, it says that's dispute. So they're delaying some kind of dispute. Or that's just, the prompt words. So what does that mean? Why they're here? I think to me it seems like they're hiding. If they're looking to delay some kind of dispute, I think they're hiding from something that's been causing them a little bit of trouble. And as we walk in, we ourselves are hiding, or at least moving around, trying to avoid the enlightened void. So we come across these two in a room, and I'm guessing they know each other to some degree. And it's possible that they ask us a favor. This is a new story prompt, or like a new chapter in the story, so no longer are we on the offensive. We thought we were going to be doing something to find find some safety or something. So, but now we've kind of we've turned the page, and we're going to see what these two want us to do. So they're like, oh, we need help, and Lorkay's like, I mean, so do we, but what can we do for you? I guess. So what we're going to do is, again, we're actually going to be using Table Fables 2. And on page 9, they have a D100 thing, and we're going to roll for some quests. And what they need is, and of course, we're going to be modifying whatever we roll to fit our setting. Because we're not out in the open. We're in a bunch of buildings built on top of each other, and like super tight spaces, stuff like that. So we have rolled a 68. So we're going to look up 68 on the quests and see what this has to do for us. Oh boy. So what this says on 68 here, this says, an old crazy sorcerer believes the king, in this case a leader, has been replaced by the sorcerer's cleverly disguised nemesis, and hires the players to help him assassinate the fake. So let's take a second and let's try and determine how to apply that to our setting, because obviously there's no king, there's no wizard hiring us, at least to our knowledge, and we're not really hired to assassinate them, but it has something to do with a wizard or wizard's nemesis. What are you doing in here? Lorkay says, looking at the two short people huddled in the dust in this storage room. Oh, you won't believe it, mate. He's gone completely mental. I know he's been completely replaced. What are you talking about? She goes on to explain that one of the local leaders, which are more or less gang lords, have one of them has been replaced by someone in disguise, some kind of illusion, and is enacting all manner of draconian law and forceful order on this specific area that we wandered into, trying to find refuge from this cult. So, yeah, I think that's what's going on. That's how I interpret that. You got to help us set things back to normal. No one believes me. So I guess that's what we're going to do. We're going to try and set things straight. That's our new goal. Maybe, if we manage to do this, we may be rewarded if she is, in fact, correct and isn't just stark raving mad. You know, we could roll for this right now. We could see if she's correct. I'm kind of scared of the result because these oracles, they don't always do what you want. They just do whatever. So, yeah, you know what? Let's see what the oracles have to say. So, you know what? I think I have a better idea. Instead of rolling for it to be true, let's roll to see if Lorkay believes it. I really don't want to spoil the ending of this new quest before we get there. So if we get there and we try and set things right, and it turns out that's not an illusion, and it hasn't been replaced by some evil sorcerer, then that's going to be pretty funny. So does Lorkay buy this? 6. He buys it hook, line, and sinker. In fact, he believes it so wholeheartedly, because that's a yes and. That I'm actually going to roll a twist. Now, we're going to interpret this twist to not be literal. It's going to be how he reacts to this. So we rolled a 3 on blue and a 5 on red. So that's an organization alters the goal. Boy, I'd say. So we need to figure out who this organization is. This is one of the governing bodies of the Fortress City. If we get in good with them, then, I mean, surely one of the governing bodies isn't completely beholden to this cult. You know what? We're not going to tell these guys that we're being pursued by an evil death cult right now. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to go along with them. Lorkay says, okay, yeah, we're going to help you. Where do you live? Like, is it safe? Oh, nowhere's safe, mate. We came in here to hide. Oh, well, that's unfortunate, isn't it? I mean, surely, don't you think your own house would be safe as well? I mean, you've got a house, don't you? No, I don't. Well, that's just fantastic, isn't it? Well, all right. Well, this will be... You know what? Why don't we make this room our base of operations? Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Yeah, the Horrible Four now operates out of this 50 by 30 old storeroom. This is our house now. It's exciting, isn't it? We've got like our own little fort. Man, what floor are we on? How did I determine what floor we were on earlier? What was that? 2d20? Yeah. Let's see what floor we're on. We're on the 12th floor. That's reasonable, I guess. That's okay. That's not near the middle because the maximum is 40. Man, this place is huge, isn't it? Okay, well, we're on the 12th floor. So we figured that out at least, and we have a base of operations. I'm really excited about this. So I think the natural thing to do would be to kind of scope out the area around our new